Today's day 15. It's Friday. I've left Mount Dare and the road is just horrendous. I'm actually at the first Dalhousie turn off now, and I just got to let Brian know. You got a copy, Brian?
Yeah, mate.
I'm at the first Dalhousie turn off now.
Righto. Probably half a K behind.
Alright, well I'll keep going then.
Righto, mate.
We've let the tyre pressures down to 26 psi cold, because it's not exactly sand travel yet, and yeah, it's just you can see the corrugations there, but honestly they're bloody really bad on the main road. And coming in, when we got into Mount Dare last night, we had to do some repairs to the roof rack mounts. They'd actually all broken. All the front mounts had actually sheared off the rivets into the window frames, and I mean it's supposed to support 100 kilos according to ARB, and we only had the sand tracks up there and the spare wheels, so they'd be lucky if there was 60 kilos up there. Still broke all the rivets. We're lucky enough to get some screws. We couldn't get any rivets, but we got some screws from the Mount Dare Hotel workshop. With the help of Brian's drill, we were able to drill out the rivets and pop some screws in there, soft-tapping screws, but I've now had to put the spare wheel in the back of the car, which took a bit of repacking. And so yeah, the only weight I've got on the roof now is the sand tracks, but I don't think it's just the weight. I think it's the fact the car just gets shaken around so much. So I'm doing 30 kilometres an hour at the moment. And I reckon from
Dalhousie Road.
it's better, but not great.
Righto, thank you.
So yeah, we just got to continue on now and hope for the best. The interesting part about it will be, even if we have to go at this speed across the desert, 30 kilometres an hour, it's 400 k, so it's still only sort of 12 hours driving, 14 hours driving over 3 days that we're allowing, 3 to 4 days to get over there, so it's not as though it's going to be impossible. We expected our average speed to be about 20. But as always, we press on again. This is a Dalhousie road. Have a look at the bloody corrugations on the main road. The bloody sidetrack's not real flash either. Probably one of the only times on this trip I wished I was on a bike. I think the bike could deal with these a lot better than the car is. Look at the tyre pressure's right down to 25 here now. Still just shaking the crap out of the car, and I'm doing 25 kilometres an hour. 400 and something kilometres, nearly 500 kilometres of this shit. I think at Dalhousie we've got to make a serious decision whether or not we actually commit to going across the track or not. I'm a bit worried about the car, so I've got this other trip coming up a couple of weeks after I get back. I don't want to go doing any damage to the car and not be able to do that trip. Wow. They were right, the conditions are bad. Let's look at those corrugations. We're actually on the road from out to the Dalhousie ruins. You come to this amazing little lookout. That's salt down there in the valley. Just an unusual landscape. Here we are coming up to the Dalhousie ruins. Out in the middle of nowhere and you got bloody palm trees. Something you don't expect to see. Well, this is where the sand starts. God, I don't be riding a motorcycle through this.
How you travel, best?
Yeah, all good, Ash.
Alright, mate, we'll keep going.
Righto, mate.
Another half hour.
Yeah, no, that'll be fine. I tell you, it's funny. It's a rough, shitty track, exactly what they said it was going to be. But I don't mind it. At least it's kind of like riding in a bowl of jelly, because you're not hitting those really hard, sharp corrugations that just rattle you to the bone. because we're going so slow. I mean, have a look out there. It's just beautiful. Like some people say it's not, but to me it's beautiful. But I'll tell you what, this is going the easy way from bloody west to east, but going down the dunes, Jesus, they're bloody cut up. Cut up both sides. We've got another half hour to go. The boys are just I think they're keen to get across. I don't know why. Mazda's doing it easy. I got the tyres let down low enough. Oh, where'd it go? There it goes, around there. I'll tell you what, the boys on the bikes, you can see the tracks that they're making, and they're just all over the place fighting it. That'd be horrid. Look at the colour in that sand. It's coming up to close to 5 o'clock South Australian time. About 10 to 5. The boys have up ahead quite a way. I've been going a lot slower than they have. Maybe you can see why. But apparently they come across a couple of motorcycle guys that are doing it hard. And they're seeing if they can give them a hand in some way. Be interested to see if it's the same KTM riders that were at Mount Dare last night, because I've been watching the tracks of the bikes scooting left, right, all over the place. And you can tell they've been struggling. But it would be hard work. Hard work on a bloody bike. It's hard enough in a friggin' four-wheel drive. Well, today's day 2 of crossing the Simpson. We made pretty good progress considering we're going quite slowly. Yesterday we didn't stop until a bit after 5. And Brian had actually come across 2 guys, one a 690 KTM and the other one an 1190 that were heading west, and they're actually suffering from exhaustion by the time we caught up with them, and had run out of water, which wasn't a good thing out here in the desert, and were critically low on fuel to the point they didn't have enough fuel to get them across to Mount Dare. So we stayed with them last night. We decided to set up camp and stay with them, gave them enough water to fill all their water bladders and their camelbacks, And anyway, they joined us for dinner last night. Gave them a couple of beers, which I'm most appreciative of. And we're contemplating as to whether or not they hide the bikes in the scrub and just come back to Birdsville with us. We're kind of prepared to do a big day today and get back to Birdsville for them tonight, but they had the Garmin inReach, so one of the guys was contacting his wife back home, who was ringing Mount Dare Roadhouse, and they've organised for 60 litres of fuel to be taken out to them. They actually were well prepared, but they just weren't prepared for the fact that the tracks were in such bad condition. They actually had done their research and spoken to people who had done the crossing before on 1190s and 690s and worked out, how much fuel they needed, and they were carrying that amount of fuel. But they were surprised by just how much fuel they were using, because as you can see, these dunes are just hard work. I don't know how well the colours will show up here, but the greens in these trees are just beautiful. And against the red desert and the blue sky, it just looks fantastic. Come over these crests and there's just all these beautifully coloured desert shrubs. It's kind of not something you expect. I think a lot of people expect it to be almost devoid of any vegetation out here and just all sand like you see in the deserts of Africa. But there's a lot of vegetation out here in the Simpson Desert. Look at the colours there, that's just amazing. The dark green ones really stand out. That's Lake Thomas. I got one more lake to cross today, and that's Lake Poeppel, and then we'll be at Popple's Corner. So we're camping tonight. What an amazing thing to see. From a distance, when you come up to these lakes, they look like snow. Here's the irony of Poeppel Corner. At the moment, I'm standing in Northern Territory, and that boardwalk there goes off to the Northern Territory. This boardwalk here is in South Australia, and that boardwalk there is in Queensland until it goes the other side of that post, and then it's back in South Australia again. One of those iconic corner spots. Good to finally get here. Tick it off the bucket list. The other irony about Poeppel Corner is this is Lake Poeppel. It's a salt lake. There's about 5 of them as you come across the French line. We've got Lake Poeppel here. The next one over is Lake Thomas. I can't remember the names of the others. And yeah, there's these big salt pans that just go for miles and miles and miles and miles. You can't really see where that one goes to, but it goes for miles off up into the distance in that direction. They're really quite beautiful, and when you see them from a bit of elevation, it just looks like snow. Snow in a desert. Who would have thought? Well, we're out at Poeppel Corner this morning, and we're about to witness something that's quite unique. We've got the full moon out there behind me. Over there, that's it, right there. And then we turn 180 degrees. We've got the sun is about to rise directly over there. And when the sun comes up, and the moon's still up, here it comes. I can see it coming through the trees now. That's going to be a unique kind of photo. there you have it. The sun has risen in the east. We're at Poeppel Corner. And over here to the west, we have a brilliant full moon. It's interesting just watching how quickly those shadows are coming across the salt plate, salt pane. Well, we've just left Poeppel Corner. Oh, Jesus. The roads have gotten good really quick. We're actually in the Northern Territory side of the corner now, so we've entered the Northern Territory for the first time on this trip. We won't be in the Northern Territory for very long. We'll be over into Queensland and down to Birdsville, and then we, which is in obviously Queensland. We've had a very good morning here this morning, and I managed to see the sunrise and the full moon at the other side. It was quite spectacular. Had a good night's sleep. We actually saw a dingo hanging around camp when we went to bed, but it doesn't look like he was after any of our stuff. We'd packed everything away, and there's a whole bunch of rabbit holes in and around where we were, so I dare say he was probably hoping to pick up a bunny for breakfast. So our destination for today is going to be Birdsville. We've got about 180 kilometres, I think it is, to Big Red, and then another 50 k's or 40 k's thereabouts into Birdsville from there. So we've got around about 220 k's to do today. And hopefully, if the tracks are a little bit better, we'll get that done in 6-7 hours. Because average speed we've been sort of doing on this trip across the desert's been somewhere around 20, maybe 30 at the best. The speed limit on the road's actually 40 kilometres an hour, but there's very few places where you can actually do 40. So as I keep saying, today we just press on. We pulled up here because there's a dingo under the tree. Sitting in the shade there, look at him. Doesn't look real healthy, the poor fella. He's got a big tick on the side of him.
Bring her out.
Hey fella. This has to be one of the most spectacular scenes we've seen. And while it may not look much, when you come across a desert and there's nothing much to see, and all of a sudden you come to over this particular dune and there's all these flowers. It's like a bloody oasis. flowers. And then it stops. Just like that. It stops. And you're back into just a desert. It's amazing.
Electrical pad on the top. Please report it as well. How you traveling, Max?
Yeah, I'm all good. I just stopped to do some filming in that little riverbed where all the flowers were.
It's a lovely oasis for you too.
You can see the areas that have had the floodwaters come through. What a difference it makes. The vegetation, the flowers. Just incredible. You would think you're in a desert, except for the sand dunes.
Approaching, heading west, 2 vehicles. Oh yeah, green channel, loving it. Okay. We just need a minute now, Camille.
We're on two detour roads around one of the creeks. So the road's been washed out or it's flooded. You can just see the growth that's happened here with the rain and the flooding. It's just beautiful. Not a lot of people get to see the desert like this, but it's only localised through the Channel Country and the creeks that have feed into Lake Eyre that have been in flood from the two cyclones early in the year up in the Gulf. Quite amazing. And then all of a sudden everything's dead. What an incredible place. In the middle of the desert, the sand dune over there, sand dune over there, and there's this billabong. All floodwaters that have come down from cyclones in the Gulf of Carpentaria, all the way down through all the Channel Country, flooded all this area. Well, we're in the Channel Country now, really, and we're on to fill Lake Eyre. Just beautiful. All the wildlife that's here, all the birds. How green it's turned the desert.